You are welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia.
Yes, indeed, you're welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia. My name is Jamal Kamara. Tonight we have with me my brother and friend from Studio C in Sweden. His Excellency Francis Mono Mensah is with me tonight. Also tonight with us tonight is Mr. Maurice Jankuba Dole. Tonight we'll also be having our colleagues joining us from Norway and London. Paul Delorche will be joining us later on, as well as Linford Agongwe. Today is the 20th May 2025, another edition tonight. We'll be dealing with national issues in Liberia. Tonight in charge in the driver's seat will be Mr. Mono Mensah. He will be taking through. I'll bring you with our, like we call it, the Bottom Line National Anthem, which is the music from our own man, the Takun J. From there, we'll start the show. And gentlemen, welcome. Before I start with Takun J, welcome. Let me introduce Mr. Francis. How are you today? Welcome to the Bottom Line once again, being in the driver's seat. How are you?
Yeah, thank you, Jamal. It's always an awesome feeling, a unique opportunity to be here in the evening to discuss issues, surrounding our country's political and ecosystems. Yeah. So, I hope we have a cordial discussion tonight, and we delve into the matters that matters most to our viewers.
Once again, thank you very much. That's our man himself. You'll be in the driver's seat tonight. That's a Francis Mono Mensah in charge. We'll be having Paul as well, be joining us soon, as well as Mr. I believe Mr. Goe from Norway, Republic of Norway, the King of Norway will be joining us as well. So we'll take a quick break before Mr. Dolly just left quickly. We'll be taking a quick musical break. Come back, also take our commercial break, and we'll let it roll out. So in the meantime, still with us, please help to share the show wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. We'll be with you in a couple of minutes.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go. I said we tired with their lies, we tired with their promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we vote tell you. But you screw us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. I said no one to trust. My people, no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they said they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No war for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So, why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. We tired with the promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we vote tell you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So I said they lie.
Thank you very much, John. Well, thank you very much for joining us. This is once again the Bottom Line Bureau. I want to welcome Mr. Dollar. Mr. Dollar, welcome before we go to our main. So, Mr. Dollar, welcome again. Mr. John Kuba Dollar, welcome to the Bottom Line once again. Thanks for coming again, being one of our co-hosts. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamara. Francis, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good.
Nice to see you guys in.
Yeah,
and I would love to be with you guys every Tuesday.
Okay, that's good one. Good
now
one.
we'll continue the marriage.
Okay. Mr. What we want to let you know before Francis, what we got on tonight, what we got to now on to the menu. I know before our colleague Johnson, we got two main issues to discuss tonight. Francis will be taking us through it. Francis, go on, sir.
Yeah, basically, again, I want to welcome our audience who are joining us. Please share the show. We have two interesting topics to discuss tonight. Due to the time factor, we'll only be here probably an hour or so, because of technical reasons. We just coming on. We didn't want to let our supporters, our viewers know, our faithful followers. Yeah, so tonight we'll be talking about the mpox that is affecting our communities, especially closer to the border between Liberia and Sierra Leone. There have been few cases reported by the Ministry of Health and Dr. Dubayan, MPhil. So it's important that we raise this issue, because it is kind of surging. It's making creating some health hazard, especially along the borders, around Skip Mount, coming down to Bombay County. So yeah. So that's the issue, guys. So Dr. Yan and his team from Elmfield is I've sent out a warning, that people should avoid these small contacts and report any sign of it. So that will help prevent the spread of this disease. And they call it mpox. It was small. Is call it it's not chicken pox, but what do you call it? It's something like you had another name for it when we were growing up, but now the scientific name is the monkeypox. So the mpox, M stand for market. Yeah. So guys, that was trending, and then we talk about the growing concerns from within the national legislature, specifically the House of Representatives, wherein there's been concerns raised by members of the minority bloc, Honorable Mervyn Cole, who is kind of disenchanted because of committees were set up, and those who were heading those committees were replaced, and that he thinks that the manner and form in which they were removed from the committees did not meet the House's rules. So he thinks there's this potential threat for future violent, the future conflicts in the House of Representatives. So welcome, Paul. Finally you are on. So hope that you last. The end of the show, and our condolences to you again for the loss of your auntie. Found solace in the Lord, and hope that her cherished memories and also rest in perpetual peace. Yeah, so guys, so we start with the mpox scenario. What is your take? What you guys take on it?
Before we go, thank you. We'll put him for the Paul will tell us what you got for on the international scene later on. Well, let's welcome Paul first. Mr. Francis, don't we let you go straight
welcome him already.
Oh, Paul, I thought you had something to say. Paul, you got okay, quiet.
Yeah.
Paul, you have a problem with your microphone?
Yeah, good. You guys can hear me?
Go on, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we can hear you.
loud and clear.
Okay, good evening and good evening to our viewer, and thanks to you guys for the support too of the situation with my aunt. So that was I didn't know she got ill, and then while on the program, the death news just came and took me out of by surprise. But it's good to be back. We can't be away forever. It's good to be back here, and so how are you guys tonight? So we'll flow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so we are trying to discuss the mpox. Our people always take things for granted in Liberia until it reach a point where it's uncontrollable. So the Ministry of Health and the National Health Institute, MPhil, they are sounding this one alert to our people, that if they see any signs, so this could be where we are, where he was talking about if Liberia could triumph over Ebola, so they can do this. So what do you think? What do you guys think? How can our people be very proactive in preventing this disease from spreading? No.
Can I come in? Hello, guy. Can I come in?
Yeah, you can come in, Mr. Doty.
All right. The best way forward in this kind of situation is to take the necessary precaution. and the medical officials need to give some form of education how to prevent the spread of this thing here. If my memory can serve me right, I overheard that a guy who also encountered this from Lufa, he was joking with it on the social media, but he was telling people how to prevent it and how you cut it and here and there and rest of it. So basically, the best possible way this kind of situation is for the medical officials to get on their feet and get around, educate people how to take a precaution measure. That is the best way for
Yeah. So
because but this is a disease that can be contaminated, can be catched by testing someone we have it. So if you have a physical contact with somebody we have it, definitely it will come on your skin. So obviously, if you are meeting people these days, it takes a serious precaution, and if possible, you stop the shaking hand things and rest of it.
all right. So Jamel, what's your take on it? How you think our people can be sensitized about this whole mpox situation to prevent them from
Yeah, yeah,
preventing
that's
it from
true.
spreading?
Yeah, one thing, Mr. Mensa, we need to know is like a 2022. I think probably the World Health Organization declared international health emergency when the thing came about, and it has resurfaced in Liberia again in Sierra Leone. I know it's kind of border transmission disease, and according to the story that was reported from info from Dr. Dubanya's office, we've reported that 2,634 confirmed cases in Liberia. 2,634 confirmed cases. We have 14 casualties, 14 deaths so far, 14 deaths so far in Liberia from this case. And now the thing is, you just question is how do we go about so you will not spread? And people seem to think, well, this is something like, well, once it doesn't catch anybody, they don't concern about it. It should be the job of the Ministry of Education, sorry, the Ministry of Health, the Dr. John, the National Public Health Care should go around massive health education campaign should door to door how to prevent this from spreading. And I think there's a vaccine for it already, and there should be a massive vaccine campaign as well, because like we have this capacity challenge in Liberia where we don't have the means to go around the transportation. And the good thing for us during Ebola period, the USA government came in to support us to support us through Ebola. We survived because we didn't have the capacity. So all else will have country, God forbid, will Liberia have, I don't know what you call perish. Will have perished, something like that, something that have happened, which I don't want to mention this word. It happened in Eastern Africa where HIV went to a full bloom AIDS in some part of East Africa, and most of these villages are no longer existing because there were no care, no education, no support was given to these people, and these things is going all around in Liberia right now. So, question about how do we stop this? The government of Liberia need to support the National Public Health Institution or Public Health Agency in Liberia, or run by Dr. Dubanyan, Ministry of Health, and other related institutions, other NGOs, to make sure they carry a massive health education campaign as well as vaccine for every home. Every county should be contacted, and every public article, how you say that, the county county health district officer should be
The
involved
health
as
team,
well.
yeah.
What do you call it, health coordinator or health officer or medical director or health what they got public health officer, and they also got the medical director. They should be involved in this. And also our very bordering countries, neighbors, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ivory Coast. These borders should be thoroughly checked. Where they have or the health agency or health staff or health operatives at the very borders, to make sure those who crossing borders should be carefully examined and supported. So this is how you won't be the to prevent the cross-border transmission.
Thank you, Jim. Paul, what's your take on it? How you think? Because look, we have the kind of porous borders, Jim, intimated. We have the borders. The borders are very porous. You can take. Between Liberia and Sierra Leone, where it is more pervasive, where it's more, what you call it, more vulnerable in people in Sierra Leone. We got almost 200 crossing borders in Liberia and Sierra Leone. So how you think how people can be protected, especially with the influx
Well,
of people trade?
yeah, I mean, the thing with Liberia, I think Ebola taught us a lesson. So this mpox, it should not be different from what Ebola taught us. And I listened to Dr. Dubayan today. He was at the lower house of representatives. They had him there to give feedback. And he confirmed this afternoon that Liberia, as we speak, they have like 4 cases now because it was reported say one person, and he did talk about the border crossing. So like Sierra Leone, it seemed to be more number, but as of this year, there haven't been any death in Liberia, according to him. So they have a lot of things in place and they are fully prepared. So they think they've been going on local radio station to educate the people on what to do. This is human to human transaction that it can happen. So I think the vaccine will be the key to this. If that happens, but he also informed us in Nigeria, the death toll in Nigeria have risen. So that means the whole of ECOWAS region is in trouble here. It's something that Liberians, I think, we're aware of and what to do. If they have the vaccine for everyone, then we should go through this crisis. So that's I think Liberians will be vigilant on this. Ebola taught us a lesson. Yeah.
I think Francis, just to add to what Paul is saying, what I want to read from what the Front Page Africa just reported today. They say mpox vaccination has begun in Liberia. So they said that Dr. Yuan Nema, Director of Program for Immunization at the Health Ministry, said vaccination has begun in 4 counties. Dr. Nema says that Liberia received more than 10,000 mpox vaccine doses in late 2024, but he warned that there are not enough vaccine for everyone yet. At risk individuals like health workers across borders, migrants will receive the vaccine. What we're trying to say, the doctor is saying, Dr. Juan Nama, saying that there's not enough. He heard of the immunization, and we don't have enough vaccine to vaccinate everybody. So, and I want to add to what Makoli Paul is saying. Every national radio, every radio station, every county, in every dialect, in every clinics, every possible periphery, whatever you call it, health center, whatever. I know we don't have enough. The one we have, we can make sure that those rural borders and those seem to be at at risk should first be the recipient. Then we got the rural borders because it's a borders transmission disease. Then we have to pose health workers are available to make sure those are crossing in and out are well checked and received. And there should be a massive campaign on our Vero radio, on our social media. There's a guy that's trending on the social media as one of those social media socialite who is telling her he's also controlling the disease. He's telling people go and take the vaccine. The only way to prevent it is to take the vaccine, but the vaccine is not enough. So what do? Health education is the key. We need to be out there. You and myself on the platform, the other platforms. Instead of going around creating all the social content, we need to warn about this disease, make joke out of it, make fun of it, make sure people go and take the vaccine. So that's the only way out for this. So else, vaccine not enough. People be contracted before you. When you contract the disease, you can't take vaccine anymore. You only can be treated, but it can be vaccine is prevention. So vaccine is not treating the disease; it prevents you from getting the disease. So the only thing to do is to prevent yourself before you get a disease. When you get a disease, they know treat you on a different level. So we need to prevent this. It's our responsibility and responsibility, not only the health ministry, not only the Dr. Dubanyan office, but the Liberian in general, the media institutions. Every Liberian should be able to spread the news and encourage people to prevent this. So this is what we need to add to the people to this message, Mr. Mensah.
Yeah, Jamel, you are no stranger to these kind of pandemics because you're a student, from the TNIMA. So You should have a little bit of background in knowledge about how these things are prevented. You see, our problem is mostly traditional. You said it rightly. The inadequacy of the vaccines may not help the situation, but what we need is proper sensitization through the various outlets, media, print, electronic, and social media. Because he appeared on the morning on the what you call it OKFM morning program this morning. I listened to him, and he was talking about the awareness, and it requires money too. So the government has to put in some money to reach out to these people, the various they call it news outlets and institutions that will help propagate the message about prevention as well. So I think that guys, we can transition. We have spoken about this national epidemic, matter of fact. So we're going to transition to the next topic because of time. We started late, so let us go into the another involving impasse at the national the House of Representatives. Be specific. There are growing concerns right now about the committee's heads, from former Speaker, what his name, Fonati Kofa. But the interesting thing is that before Kofa's resignation, these guys were already replaced, and and the new committees here were set up, were appointed. Speaker Kuhn has appointed a lot of people for his camp, and now the guys from the minority bloc, the rule of law people, they are complaining. They think there's the manner in which Speaker Kuhn appointed these people to various committees, the big committee heads, Ways and Means, and other committees. It was inimical to the practices of the House of Representatives, and it has the propensity to create future what you call conflicts. So for me, my take here before you guys join is that, look, hey, I think the speaker has a right. They were already 49 members. I think it's a majority, but the likes of Marvin Cole, who was kind of who went rogue on the process, and says that these committees should be dissolved by the majority through a vote for the non-members of the or the set of the House of Representatives can dissolve the committee. So I want to say, my point is that my question to you guys is that, does it have to be the 49, or the speaker has the authority to appoint? Because some experts will say, hey, the speaker has the authority to appoint people on the committee. Say he's a new speaker. So yeah, it's just like any government coming to power. You appoint people. You don't have to go and consult anybody else. So, guys, what do you guys think? Does the speaker has the power, or he has to go through the rules?
Yeah, may I ask a question, please?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Francis. First of all, what we need to gather here is the first committee that was set up by Kufa. How was it set up? Were it just being appointed by Kufa, or they went through some electoral procedure to have these people into this position?
They were appointed by Kofa. They didn't go through any process.
They didn't go through any process. They were appointed by Kofa.
Yes.
if that's the case, the new speaker who is there, he have a right to appoint whoever he think he can work with. Because if you have the appointed power to appoint people, you would like to appoint people that you think that they will listen to you and they will work with you, they will cooperate with your system. But to avoid the conflict, because the whole episode started with a lot of misunderstanding between the lawmaker. To avoid the continual conflict, so the speaker supposed to be wise enough to do some positive selection, not only from those that pay loyally to him, some opposition also in the House of Representatives to give them few positions in order for people to be satisfied to balance the case.
Okay, that's a that's a valid point. I mean, he should go across the board and across the aisle and appoint people that were that were not in his camp. So, but again, yeah, it's alleged that he's he has done uh, the appointment without following the rules of the House of Representatives. So, Paul, what's your take on it? Does he have the right as a speaker, or must he, dissolve the committees for the 9 members before he can proceed?
Thank you, Francis. See, what led to the impasse is what is happening now. It was based on committees, that people were not getting committees. They got on a rampage. They decided to remove Fanati Kofa. What was not done legally, it was the wrong thing according to the Supreme Court ruling. So they went back and did the right thing. So he was now elected as speaker. So that made everything start from fresh. So electing the whole new thing as speaker, so what he needed to do is to reach across the aisle. That is the unification of the whole thing, that although we're in fight, because I was the imported speaker at the time, illegal speaker, and did the wrong thing, appointed people illegally, the past budget. Say he was now elected, he's now become the legitimate speaker. He now need to appoint people across all the both sides, so there wouldn't be what had happened. But if he decide to stick with the 49, then we're going to have another crisis soon. And this is what the newspaper is saying. The chemistry is there for new conflict. So you cannot stick to those guys that went through, that collected good money being in the hotel LRJ for over I don't know how many months. So now go across the aisle and distribute the committees. So you can't have this thing coming back. But if they refuse to do it, then there'll be another another situation again. And who will suffer is the country. So I think as a speaker, do the right thing. Yeah.
Look, Paul, I think look, I will let the disagree with you just before I go to Jamel. You said something that the Supreme Court at a point in time said what they did in terms of Coons being the speaker was illegal or antivirus. So they should reset to go to status quo. So automatically those committees are dissolved. Say have a new speaker. So yeah, so I just think that
so the new speaker now with the 73 members now distribute the committee. So you are in fight with two group of people, one majority, one minority. He set up a group there. But it was illegal when he did that. Now it's legitimate now. Do the right thing. That's what the guys are asking.
I mean, so what he did, he reappointed these people. So yeah, so he reappointed these people. So I'll move to Jamel. So Jamel, what's your take on it? Do you think he has a constitutional responsibility and the right as a speaker to appoint, or you have a committee that would dissolve the previous committees and then appoint people?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. So, my brother, it's not about the right. As a speaker from previously, you have the right to appoint committee members, committee head to run the House. I think my colleagues and what my colleagues are saying here is quite clear. Look, we're looking at the political maturity of the leadership of the House. We had a conflict for 6.5 months, right? And you've been elected. Forget about the right. He has a right, just to confirm that he has a right to appoint who he wants to be the speaker. There's no election in the House to appoint committee members. That's the power of the speaker. But then with the situation you're in now, to settle the cause in the House, to get across everybody, to bring in a peace in the House, you need to go across. Look, Liberia does not belong to the 46 members. Those guys that are in the House as the other 23 or whatever numbers they are also representing constituencies as well. If you are a mature politician, a mature leader, and not only politician, if you are a leader, you don't go back to reappoint these people anymore. You go across and reach out to the other people to make sure they form part and break that impasse in the House. And make sure we go again and bring business as usual, not business as usual, bring that camaraderie back into the House. The relationship of building, working together, team, that spirit should come back. That's what we call leader. It's not appointing somebody that work with you. You cannot. I don't like you, Francis, but I can work with you. We have an objective here. This is what we are missing: leadership. So what we say is now you had a right or not. That's not a question. The question is, can we continue like that? This is what newspaper is saying: the chemistry for new conflict. Of course, you think we're going to have a peace for the next 3 years? Those committees appointed, they have the right to be there for the next 3 years until another groups are re-elected, so are reappointed. But now, what Speaker Kun has done? Oh well, they don't like me. I don't care. I will appoint my guy. I will reappoint them and keep going. So what do you expect? That my voice, how do you feel if you in that situation? That I don't think they were against Richard Kun as a person. They were against policy. Those who were against policy. They want procedure to be set straight. That was the reason they were fighting to the so-called minority group were fighting to set the record straight in the House. So the issue of having the power to reappoint is politically immature. He did not go across to reach out to other people. There's a propensity to bring confusion in the House. I don't think that House is going to settle down for another more years. If this guy don't go back and reappoint and go back and sit with this guy, smoke what we call the pig pipe and the peace pipe, or else we're going to have chaos onward from here on. I'm telling you, that's no joke about it. The newspaper is not lying. Look, this is not Liberia. It's not for Liberia is not for the 9 people. Man, come on, man. Let's be serious. There are other. How many counties have in Liberia? They are all represented in the House. The other people are there because they also want to represent Liberia. So why you want to take it as a cartel? Are we running a cartel in this place? No. We run a House that represent people. They want to make decisions for the country. They are there to their oversight. Their job is oversight of responsibility to make sure various counties receive development. Also, their voices are heard. So this is a take on it. This is no joke about it. This is quite clear. What my colleagues are saying, I'm just adding to what they have said. Kun needs to go and rethink his decision. It's not politically right. As a leader, he didn't do well. It doesn't say because he had the power to appoint anybody. No. Reach across to other people. You said that, Francis. Then reach out to other people and make a good decision. Let's move forward. That's it.
They will move on with transition to international, news making headlines. But look, legislative politics are about interest, and you have your base. You have to satisfy your base. So I think this would be tantamount to
Your base. Come on. Come on, hold you that small. Your
It'll be a tantamount. It'll be tantamount to a suicide. It'll be very suicidal if he has to go and take and remove all the guys who supported him along the way.
No, you can reach out. You can reach out. You don't have to remove them. Look, what about the country interest? You're talking about his base. That's what I'm saying. Are we running a cult here or cartel?
But it has always been that way. Politics has always been that way. It always been by your base. But you
also now.
Within that base, you have qualified people as well.
Yeah, but will you continue to have conflict in that house until his term is over? That's what he wants. That's the leadership. Is that what we want? That's the question. We're asking.
I think the problem here is that the likes of Marvin Cole, he's a loose. I don't say a loose cannon because he goes about.
Yeah, Francis, let me come in. Let me listen.
It goes about and bringing things out that may create problems.
Yeah. Listen to me. The problem is already there. Listen to me, Francis. The problem is already there. They have not been solved. You will just patch up. You understand what I'm saying? You will just patch up, but you will not solve. Relatively, you will not solve. But so to avoid it being created again in a massive escalation position is to compromise certain things. You know, listen, let me tell you something. Politics is about interest. When we say interest, not for individual interest, the interest of the stake. That is about politics. So if you cannot seek the welfare of the stake, you are bound to fail. So right now, you talking about Kun should always focus on those that are loyal to him because he's a political interest and blah blah. If you do it, and those people were elected by their consequences, and mind you, those people have a right to get rid of a certain number of people and put in a petition to impeach him from the position. It's possible. So to avoid all these things, then why they can sit down and compromise issue lengthily? Because at the end of the day, the people will still go around to labor again to collect your signature and deal with him. If the whole thing, let me just tell you something. The thing that caused all this problem is the executive gave credence to the majority group when they were doing the wrong thing. That's the one that led all into this kind of mess. If the majority, the executives were listening to the realities and follow the reality, we're not going to reach to where we are. But because they were supporting the illegal activities in that place there, in the best interest of their personal interest, look at what is happening right now. The president of our nation, he got a $10 million worth of project going on now in Louva County. How he got the money? He is not even making any single statement to anybody to tell the people how you got that money to do that work. Those are supposed to check him up. Is their House of Representatives. So, I want all to look at this thing. Look, let me tell you something. If you see people
we have to transition, Mr. Dory. Take your last 2 minutes so Paul can get
then
he stop and move to the next topic.
Yeah, Francis, I agree with you. I agree with our 2 minutes of grace period. But the thing that causes conflict in our country is the president consider himself as a demigod. That's the one that caused problems. Samuel Doe was there, nobody could listen. He couldn't listen to anybody. He could just grab the chief justice and just remove him. If you're not sure, they go to your house and tell him, so look, tomorrow go and send your resignation. All these things happen. It makes people to turn against him. It can happen. And the old man here, how long are you going to be in this place here now? After the 6-year period, he might not even run. So let's be realistic. The country will stay.
Paul, you got a little thought on it. So after that, we can transition to international news making headlines.
Yeah. Thank you, Francis. Look, The 49, I don't think there were 49 members either. There were 42, 43. There were 43.
Yeah.
Now, all the 43 does not have committee yet. So if this lower group is not complaining and you overlook it, the members of that so-called 43 may end up joining this group, will have another impasse over there. And when that happens, it based on the speaker lack of his outreach will lead to another trouble. And then what happened? When that happened, the speaker said before, when they had the impasse, he said it's a regime speaker. So this regime now will be fighting, and then what they want to do, it may not happen. So look, we should look at this on a very critical point, that if your regime speaker is there to do the work of the executive, then reach across the aisle and ease the problem to get you for the next 4.5 years. But when another fight starts, they will go through the same process of removing again and then remove. So the regime speaker may not end up doing the work he meant to do. And that is the fact. Reach out everybody. You just been elected speaker. Everything have now started from square one. Distribute the position to those people and get your regime for the next 4.5 years to what the agenda they have for the country to benefit. If not, the country suffer. That's how I see it.
Okay, the country will suffer without being considerate and reaching out across the aisle. So Paul, do you have anything for us internationally? Because we got 30 more minutes to go. No. So
yes, we do. We have actually it's two things that we have internationally. It's three, but and Africa is one of them. And then we'll look at what happened in Gaza. For some reason, that Benjamin Netanyahu, his own alliance now turning against him for what he is doing, because they have been quiet, but it has reached to the point now that their local MPs have been putting pressure on their government to do something, because they've been on the other side, putting sanction on Russia for what it's doing. But when it comes to Netanyahu, all of them, they're gone silent. So there is a pressure group now that have been pressuring all of these so-called alliance with Israel. So we'll look at that. Then we'll look at what happened, the telephone conversation between Trump and Putin. What does that lead on with the television, the telephone conversation bring the war to an end in Russia? That's something we need to look at. And we need to also watch out for the alliance with Senegal and the Sahel nation. That's something that is trending. The Senegalese are now having key interest in joining the Sahel state. So people are saying if Senegal join, it will be the biggest move that other countries now will see. They will start joining, and this Pan-African nation that people be talking about, maybe it will be the birth. So we should watch out for Senegal. The relationship between the two presidents, President Traoré and the president of Senegal, the level at which they are going, there is a strong possibility that Senegal may join the Sahel state. So it's something that we need to look at. Yeah, before we get into international things, just to take a quick commercial break for our sponsor, which is very important. So let's have this 2-minute commercial break, then we'll transition.
Di Lorenzo, G Grace, Hems vocal, Liberia number one vocal, Liberia number one, right? Okay.
The phrase, a new sheriff is in town, does not only belong to law enforcement. How about the introduction of Liberia's premier vodka, a quality and customized liquor for all occasions? Try the flavor of your choice. Hans Vodka, Hans Honey, Hans Bitter, and Hans Original Vodka. Hans Vodka has no hangover. That's why they say Papa drank Mama happy. Hans Vodka is sold in all stores, shops, supermarkets, and entertainment centers in Liberia. For wholesale, contact Hans Vodka at 0777 001114, 0777 000-979. We can also be reached via social media on Facebook and IG at Hans Vodka or www.hansvodka.com. In the United States, please contact Hans North America Incorporated at 610-543-9289, 484-888-1622, 484-755-8411. Hans Vodka is approved by the U.S. federal government. Hans Vodka brings out the real man in you.
I tell you in my boy and my blood, every time when I stay on the block, everybody knows it, we have stand. And forgot that number one, oh, from Liberia all around. It's supermarket store and everywhere. And forgot that number one, oh.
Right. Hans Vodka, our number one sponsor on the Bottomland. So we'll move on the international. We'll start with France, UK, and Canada have now gone after Benjamin Netanyahu to stop what he's doing. So let's listen to this thing, and then we can have our 2 minutes each on it.
The leaders of Britain, France and Canada are warning of action against Israel if it doesn't stop its military assault and the blockade of Gaza is lifted. In a joint statement, they said the Israeli government's denial of essential humanitarian assistance to the civilian population is unacceptable. It risks breaching international humanitarian law. The statement says, we will not hesitate to take further action. Well, Hamda Salhoud joins us now from the Jordanian capital, Amman. She's there because the Israeli government has banned Al Jazeera from reporting inside Israel and the occupied West Bank. And Hamda, we've got this statement I mentioned from the leaders of those three countries, also foreign ministers of EU countries issuing a statement. Any reaction from Israel to all this flurry of statements?
Well, there hasn't been any reaction from Israel just yet, but it's worth mentioning this flurry of statements that's come in just in the last hour. The first was from the human rights chief of the UN, saying that while Israel has allowed a quite partial and minimal resumption of humanitarian aid, this is just a drop in the ocean. But that's not the main statement that's causing a lot of buzz. The main one here is the UK, France, and Canada saying that they would take measures, including sanctions, against Israel if they, one, did not stop their military actions in Gaza, two, did not lift the blockade on humanitarian assistance for Palestinian civilians, and three, continued their expansion of illegal settlements in the occupied West Bank, which is a topic that many countries have seemed to have forgotten about, that Israel has been expanding these illegal settlements under the guise of war, passing these policies in the Israeli parliament, while all of the focus was on Israel's war on Gaza. So it's interesting to see exactly how this is going to play out. But the third statement we received has 25 different signatories. Many of those countries are allies of Israel, calling on the Israeli government to do more when it comes to humanitarian assistance, to do more when it comes to humanitarian aid, saying that what they have been doing is simply not enough, that they are cutting off the population entirely inside of Gaza, and that it's Israel's responsibility to do so. Otherwise, they are breaching international law, something I might add that Israel has been accused of throughout the entirety of this war.
Thanks so much to Hamda Salhoud there, joining us live from Amman. As we've been hearing, the statement from the leaders of France, the UK and Canada, well, they came as foreign ministers from over 20 Western countries in the EU who are providing aid to Gaza also criticized Israel. In a joint statement, they said, as humanitarian donors, we have two straightforward messages for the government of Israel. Allow a full resumption of aid into Gaza immediately and enable the UN and humanitarian organizations to work independently and impartially to save lives, reducing suffering and...
Right. So this is the situation, guys. We've been on the program, we've been seeing it. The hypocrisy in the war. All of these Western nations, they came together. They have the group called the Coalition of the Waiting to post sanction on Russia and supply arms to the Ukraine. But when it comes to Israel, they became very silent. So all of these countries now, their local MPs have been bombarded by citizens. So pressure have been mounted on them. So they now coming out of their share to say, oh, they're going to post sanction. So Jamal, Dolly, Francis, this is the situation we face with.
I mean, just quickly coming forward. It's a breaking news that Israel responded. Israel said that they will not bend to any pressure. And the actions that were taken by the foreign ministers and the presidents, leaders of the three France, Britain, and Canada, there's so many things we do not know about Israel's relationship with the European Union. Israel has a country were driven away from the Middle Eastern. They had a union, a community. So because of the situation of Israel and the Palestinians, Europe decided to bring Israel closer. Israel is so far from Europe, so they are looking at that as well. That look, there were conditions that we allow Israel to come closer to be an associate member of. To participate in our football tournament, UEFA tournament, to participate in the Eurovision, do a lot of things, and they are going to scrutinize those conditions and make sure that Israel, will be targeted. There are already targets, sanctions in Israel already on certain government officials within the Netanyahu camp. So Israel is becoming a pariah nation right now, pariah state, and this will be bigger. Because Israel depends on America, who is a supplier, and America, Trump did not even visit Israel when he recently left it, because Netanyahu was defiant. So America, we are waiting to see what America will say next.
Yeah, can I come?
Yeah, go ahead. So you see the situation, Francis, you are right. When Israel do things, they ignore. But when it came to Russia, they banned them from all sporting activities. But then Israel became very quiet. Padole, what say you before bringing Jamal? Because I know Jamal have a total different view about the Arab nation that sitting there not doing nothing, allowing their brothers and sisters to be massacred by these people. What say you, Padole?
Yeah, you see, what happened? Politics is about day-to-day activity of the people. Right now, the person that was giving a lot of leverage to Israel is no more in power in America right now. Don't look at this man they call Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a businessman. He look at interest more than anything. You look at financial gain more than the political gain. Donald Trump, could you imagine quite recently he visited the entire Arab world? How much he achieved there in terms of contract is too hard. And there's some discussion might have. Even go to Middle East, he never reached to Israel. I want people to look at that. Secondly, he did some negotiation to release an American citizen that was captured by Hamas, who were in in the custody of the Hamas, and Hamas released it directly to America through Israel over the intervention of Israel. So all these things then we need to look at it. If you see the Europeans are coming up with this thing that they know that America is turning a little bit back on this in terms of supporting Israel against Hamas, because Donald Trump is making some heavy negotiation with the Arab world. So basically, if the statement that the president just said that Netanyahu just came out and said he will not back down to pressure. That how people can say when such a story come out, they will not just say, okay, I agree whatever the people say. He will come out with some kind of challenging statement. But nevertheless, he knows that the strength of Israel is Europe and America. So and things will work out.
Wow. Jamal, what say you? I know your view have always been totally different from the way the Arabs sit there and they allow their brothers and sisters to be massacred by these so-called Eastern Europeans that were taken from Europe that they brought onto that land called Israel today. What say you on the step that UK,
definitely.
Canada, and France is taking?
Yeah, definitely, Paul. That's been my position with regard to. I think before I talk about why is it that Europe is backing, giving a warning to Israel to back off? It's just because the Arabs are not helping the Palestinians. Now, like Mr. Dollar said, you knew that Trump was recently in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East. Nothing of Palestine was discussed because it's not interest. Mr. Dealmaker, which is Mr. Trump, is interested. He make America as a big business magnet. So you got to make a deal. That's what you're interested in. But on top of that, look, Asia does not consider Europe. Like my colleague Francis was saying, if I'm your supporter and you depend on me and I tell you stop, you won't stop, you will stop. So Israel does not consider Europe at all. That's one thing. When a person Israel listen to, tell me how many times Netanyahu has visited Europe and visited parliament and discussed the issue. He's always in America. He's not. He doesn't. America is the big brother. Look, we all got to know the fight in how do you call it? The fight of in Ukraine against Russia. The news came about when Trump released the information about 60% of the funding, the supply was coming from America. So he made deal. We didn't know that he made deal with Ukraine without Europe being part of it. Europe was just outside, so Europe was just making noise. They are not doing anything. If I was like 60 to 80% supporting you, and I tell you to stop, you won't stop. In the next 24 hours, you will feel the pain. So the news, all those media, something is just a flow show, my brother. The brother says it's all vlog. So they should be serious and tell what they want. America, we're waiting for America to make the decision. If America tells us, Bridges stop, they will stop. The only way Israel will stop, Middle East tell Mr. President and Mr. Dealmaker in America, Trump, look, our guys are dying, they're struggling, they're suffering. We want you to stop. You will tell them to stop. But why would they not say it? Because if they say it, all the security arrangement in the Middle East is run by the Americans.
Yeah.
And within the Middle East as well, there are other radicals within the Middle East also want the heads of those leaders. So if they remove the security arrangement, American security arrangement in the Middle East, those radicals in the Middle East will come after the leadership in the Middle East. So you see how it goes around? This is a story. So it's going to be so those guys will not talk about the issue in Palestine should stop. They will just say like, well, we'll talk about the Gaza, we're saying supplies, humanitarian supply. Can we keep saying supply? We're killing every day. But one thing I want to let Israel know. Look, my man, how many now? 1.5 years now, you bombarding the poor country or poor people. You can't get your hostage. How will you get them? You got all the military machinery. You can't get them. They can't get rid of you. So you think if you granted a hold of Gaza, you think you're going to get those hostages? They will gladly get the hostages are not in Gaza. They are somewhere else. Though Arabs are willing to die, they will not give you because one of those hostages is a big bargain for them, bargaining chip. So they will not release them. You can clear the whole of Gaza. Take the yellow mission Liberia call it. caterpillar and clear the whole place. You will not find the hostages. So they just kill those people, and the Americans, you know that. They know that. Look what happened. How many years? Look at the major power. Gaza, the people in Palestine, they don't have that power. They only got those small guns and stuff, and they rocket and self-supply from Iran and stuff like that. They don't have that much. For the past, 365 days, almost more than that, they built from the air ground, bombarding that poor little line. They have not succeeded getting anybody except they allow it to give it to you. So look, it's clear. Israel has failed. Benjamin Netanyahu, how you call it? I don't want to even pronounce his name. Netanyahu, whatever you call him. He just can't. You want to save his face. You cannot get those guys by bombarding them. You can't get those your hostages by bombarding them. You need to sit down at the table. They got, look, what the Palestinians are saying, one hostage, about 5,000 Palestinians. We got more Palestinians in jail than any other place in the world. I think if the Palestinians are in jail, there are more than those in Niba County, Liberia. The population of Liberia, those in the population of Niba in Liberia, there are hundreds of thousands of Palestinians in jail. So what they're going to do, there's a good bargaining chip. They will not release them. If you want to release one hostage, that's why they want to get them. You got to release about 5,000, 1,000 of our people. So they will prefer to die, and that's what they're fighting for. And that's a negotiation. So just the clear picture of what's going on in Asia, in the Middle East, and also in Palestine. The Arabs would not talk about the issue, but they wouldn't say, okay, we want to say Palestine, we want to send humanitarian support to Israel. To the people in Gaza. Why you want to get humanitarian support when you don't stop the war? They're not interested in stopping the war. In the news, did you hear that the Arabs talk about when Trump was in Saudi Arabia? Did he talk about let's stop the war in Gaza? No, they're not interested. That's the fact.
Let me just say something to you quickly. Look, America knows that the war in Gaza will now be won by the constant bombardment. America suffered that same fate in Vietnam.
Yeah.
America had a machinery, they had artillery, but they did not win in Vietnam. And the same thing will apply to look, these guys will be martyrs. They are martyrs. They die for the cause of Palestine. Although it is very, very the meaning is unhuman, is barbaric, but from the side of the Israeli, especially our president, he wants to run again for elections. He's using the blood of the people of Palestine to run again for election, and he does not want to lose, because if he loses, his Abraham will go to jail because they have corruption charges against him.
Yeah.
Besides corrupt, they got a lot of charges against him. So he does not want to relinquish that part. He does not want to lose it. So America is the greatest supplier. Even the Saudi Arabia is
so. Francis, do you think Trump getting fed up with this guy behavior? Do you think so? You can
but the guy, according to sources, the guy, he outrightly challenged Trump's instruction. Behind the scenes, Trump told him to slow down, and he refused, because America has created its own monster. America created its own monster. Because in the name of fighting Iran and other countries, so America provided everything to this guy. Now he cannot listen. And the Jewish Americans who supported the presidency in America, all the presidents, the Jewish Americans got money. They are the one the major biggest donors to the presidential campaigns. So I want to land on the thought. The Saudi Arabia is fighting Iran. She had Trump play there. Trump played the two countries right now, put in the middle. Yeah. He went to Saudi Arabia, got money for them. He went to Iran. He said, you guys stop your whole nuclear enrichment program. we take all the sanctions from you. And you recognize the guy who killed the Americans, the president of Syria. You see, no, you don't know. So yeah, go ahead, Paul. I got 10 more minutes here. We can, let's go around the table and then we can call it a night.
Yeah. Yeah,
So another thing, because we still on this. Yeah, pardon. Then we transition for 3 minutes to Putin. Go on, pardon.
All right, Francis, to better way, just what happened to this is that's what I'm saying. Politics is a day-to-day activities of a human being. Right now, Trump, the man who is the head of the United States government, is a businessman. He got too much of business interest in political interest. So that's my observation. There's a problem between the Arab because the Shia and the Sunni. We got that problem. The Shia are supported by the Iran, the majorities of the Iraqi areas and part of Syria, but these are the Shia people. They was in power, but they just removed them from power. Now the Sunni have taken over. The Sunni are supported by the Sunni are from the people in Saudi Arabia and Qatar and them. That there's small conflict between them. He started way back, so there's a long history. So right now, the Sunni were having good relationship with the American administration. You listen to whatever American administration tell them, you do it. The Shia were not listening to it. But now they are getting to understand things from different perspectives. But however, from my observations, the man who is the president of the United States, he is getting fed up with Benjamin Netanyahu attitude. Because, yeah, he's getting fed up with it. That's let wait for long life and see the end of this thing here. Sooner or later, the Trump administration will tell Benjamin Netanyahu something that you are not going to hear it. Even though the American policy is run by the Israelis, millionaire them, but the Israeli millionaire them also feeling that they are not getting more insecure based on the kind of thing that are going on. So obviously, the man get to Netanyahu to get him to stop whatever he's doing. Sooner or later.
Let me add something else.
That makes sense in England to be brave today to say, look here, if you don't stop, we're going to censor him. You've been doing something.
There's something behind it. So that the behind scene that Princess talked about, they putting pressure on him in a way. But then something funny happened too before we move to Russia quickly. The AU or OU, what they call them, had a meeting in Addis Ababa. And usually they can invite all of these, how they call it, foreign diplomats. Israeli ambassador went there and they drove him out. That they would not do business with Israel based on what is happening to the people in Gaza. And that was the first time for African Union to take a bold step against Israel. So it was something good. But having said that, and I hope that Donald Trump, being a crazy Donald Trump, could say something. Let's see what Netanyahu will do. Maybe it will bring relief to the poor people over there. But Francis, you said something the last time on this program. Whenever Israel do wrong, Russia capitalize on it.
Smart.
And Russia capitalized on it. So last week we had a situation that there were this so-called Western European country called, I said, the coalition of the waiting, headed by my prime minister and co-held by the guy from France. They've decided to come up with a 7-day 30-day ceasefire that is shut down in Kiev and decided to give Putin an ultimatum. So Putin decided to call the bluff, say, you know what, let us meet in Turkey. And after that meeting, there were prisoners released, I think 1,000 each. But then Putin continued after that. Day before yesterday, the maximum drone attack that they gave Russia made Donald Trump to call Putin to say, look, man, let's have a conversation. So they have a conversation for 2 hours yesterday. But I said on the show, when the Russia have this, when they decide when the war will end, they will end it. So there was a conversation between them, and Putin narrated this, they respond to their conversation. Guys, let's listen to this and then we'll close the show. It's about 3 minutes.
Good evening. My colleagues asked me to say a few words about the results of our phone conversation with the President of the United States. Indeed, this conversation took place and lasted more than 2 hours. I would like to note that it was very substantive and quite frank. And overall, in my opinion, in this regard, it was quite useful. First of all, I thanked the President of the United States for the support from the US in resuming direct negotiations between Russia and Ukraine regarding the possible conclusion of a peace agreement. Regarding the resumption of talks that were broken off by the Ukrainian side, as is known, back in 2022. The President of the United States expressed his position on ending hostilities, on a ceasefire. And I, for my part, also noted that Russia stands for a peaceful resolution of the Ukrainian crisis. We simply need to determine the most effective paths toward peace. We agreed with the President of the United States that Russia will propose and is ready to work with the Ukrainian side on a memorandum regarding a possible future peace treaty, outlining a number of positions, such as, for example, the principles of settlement, the possible time frame for concluding a peace agreement, and so on, including a possible ceasefire for a certain period if corresponding agreements are reached. By the way, contacts between the participants of the meeting and negotiations in Istanbul have resumed, and this gives reason to believe that we are generally on the right path. I want to emphasize once again that the conversation was very constructive, and I highly appreciate it. The question, of course, is for the Russian and Ukrainian sides to demonstrate maximum willingness for peace. And to find those compromises that would satisfy all parties. At the same time, I want to note that Russia's position is generally clear. The main thing for us is to eliminate the root causes of this crisis. If anything needs to be clarified, Press Secretary Peskov and my aide, Mr. Ushakov, will explain some details of our today's phone negotiations with President Trump a bit later.
Francis, this is the situation now. The coalition, the waiting, were putting pressure on Putin. This guy will call the shot the day he ready. And that has said, what your take on the clip, the interview they had with Putin, with a phone call with Donald Trump, that they were putting pressure on him. So this is the situation that they face when they go back, they're going back to square one. What say you, Padre?
Yeah, to be realistic in this issue is sometimes when people refuse to accept the realities, this is the end result that can happen. In the first place, this war should not have started. The Ukraine and the Russian war should not have started in the first place. Based on the history, the areas, the relationship between them from time to time, and based on the starting of Ukraine being an independent nation. So, what was an agreement? What was something that they come to? When this agreement is broken into, these are the things that can happen, and somebody is there. And secondly, when you have somebody who cannot think for himself as a leader of a nation, these are the things that happen. The man who is the president of Ukraine is a comedian. He now have no formal political experience. He was just a social man on the street, there on the stage, make people to laugh whole day, whole night. That made him to be popular. He took the country and gave it to such a person. Besides Russia, in that entire Eastern European country there, Ukraine is bigger than all Europe, most powerful. Took such a country and gave it to men like that. And the Westerners know that what the interest, if the guy Ukraine, what would be the advantage of them. So they were waiting for that opportunity to come, and the opportunity came. They decided to use it and put in local aid and say, no, I will not say that the family and allow this. Because nearly 20 to 25% of the population of Ukraine are Russian speaking people. So that's the case. Politics is the interest. Interest based on several different perspectives. Security interest, financial interest, all this kind of stuff involved in politics. So Putin is
right.
Man who is a leader now of America know the realities, and you will listen to him and you will compromise the situation. So some of the things then will be arranged properly.
So, Francis, the coalition of the waiting that don't want peace, because if you want peace, what do? All of these leaders have each other telephone number. They can call, they shall say, look, let us meet and have a dialogue, but they don't want to do it. They keep saying that they'll continue sanction, they'll continue more arms, and put Trump on the other side saying, look, let's have a conversation. Let's find out what these people want. Conversation, somebody will sort of bitter pill and then it will all ceasefire. But the other group don't want to have conversation. They want to say, oh, we'll pressure you. We'll give you sanction until you stop. And this guy, the more you keep putting sanction in, the more he keep causing damage. What say you, Francis?
Look, Paul, if you look at the posture of the body language of Putin when he was speaking, Putin being very political, being very diplomatic. Putin, I may be wrong, but here's my thought. I mean, the war in Ukraine has its excesses. It has its exogenous factor, Russia and the NATO agreement. But that war would have ended a long time. I think I will tell you that it was ended 2 years ago prior to this Israeli-Gaza stuff. Israel. Because, yes, the analogy, I may be wrong. Joe Biden and his people were supporting Israel. And they were hitting Putin's ally in Syria. Iran, they were hitting them. Then the war came. So Putin like say, okay, but then we will use this other side to mitigate the tension in the Gaza. So Putin just agreed to that God talk. So Putin does not want to be the one to come and speak up. Say, that is war. Israel stop. I mean, in Gaza, stop. Then I will stop my war. What's the correlation?
Yeah.
In Israel, flattening the people's face the other day, last night, after they talk with the president, Putin launched him again. Yeah. He launched him again. So he has his Arab friends, the Iran, the Assad there. They push Assad up. America supported that group that pushed Assad up. The Saudi Arabia supported that group that pushed Assad up. So look, the two wars will end just like that, and the war in Israel in Gaza stop. The war in Russia in Ukraine will stop. Look, no amount of pressure from the European Union, because they don't dare. Now, nation of goodwill or whoever they are, they will not dare.
They call themselves coalition of the wailing.
They will not go attack Putin. If they would have done it, they would have done it a long time ago. Let me tell you one small story here. And the three Baltic countries, Latvia, Sweden, they put the embargo on Russia. So these countries, guys, it's coastal land with Russia. Their boats their small military boats when to patrol when a black warship going to Russia. Carrying goods and services to Russia. The military, the Russian plane, they flew over there 3 times. And they start complaining. The people attack NATO, and they had to move that ship quickly. The black. So look, Russia, the war will end on Putin's term. I realize it by now. There's no amount of pressure. America, Trump came in, got his money. He got a mineral deal for Ukraine. He left them in the balance. So watch to see what America see. And I bet you, and Trump come out tomorrow and say he condemns Israel. I swear to God, Putin will say that are having a ceasefire.
Yeah. I say you cannot say it more than that. Gemma, what say you? So we can close this one on you. What say you? This is the thing we're saying that.
Thank you very much. I think you guys have said enough about the situation in Europe. I would love to just 1 minute on what happened in Africa. That's my interest. That's a alliance of Sahel states. But since we don't have that time, we can put it another day. I think you have saw what what you mentioned is what I would have said. So I don't think I want to repeat that. I will just add to it. That's good points you made here. I mean, support what you guys have said across. So fine with me.
Yeah, thank you on that. I think on Friday we dissect the situation with the nation, the Sahel nation on Friday. Something that we need to look at. Apart from Senegal, South Africa, there's a woman over that in Namibia or where, and she also being.
But Paul, I need to before you go far. I need to get your information straight. That Senegal is trying to join the alliance of Sahel State, because I know somewhere around October, the president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, was appointed as the mediator to bring Sahel and ECOWAS to come together. If he's coming to join the Sahel State, I don't know where that information is coming from. I think we need to verify that information, because that could be another content creation on the YouTube. Probably people picking up. So you need to verify that information better.
No, I say it could be. Listen to this, and the level, the negotiation, the way it's going. So people eyes are keen on Senegal, and the Senegalese, the Senegalese president, the young guy, he being a very smart diplomat at the moment. He been playing. He's now the person that will rush in. He was in Paris the other day. When he came from Paris, he told them, we don't want your military base here anymore. So he playing the card, but people are seeing the relationship between Tuareg, because he visited Tuareg. I think it's the second time.
What I'm telling you now, he's the mediator. ECOWAS is mediator. He's been appointed
I
as
agree.
ECOWAS mediator. So visiting those countries should not give the illusion that or they thinking that he's going to join. So those information are
Listen
coming
now,
up.
Jamal, listen. He is a Pan-African nation, that young man in Senegal. And this guy reawakened Pan-African. So I'm saying based on the Pan-African nation, people are looking at that link that this Tuareg could have influence on his counterpart over there. Then there's two other names from South Africa. I don't know whether it's Botswana and Namibia, the woman, and there's another young guy who also thinking that level.
The woman is from Tanzania.
Is she from Tanzania? Okay. So watch the trend that is happening.
No, you got another woman in South Africa.
You got in
Namibia as well. You got Tanzania. You got Namibia. You got Tanzania.
Namibia. The
Tanzania
Namibia woman
is a Muslim. I mean, it's a woman
really as well.
Yeah, it's a woman. I know, but the Namibia.
Jamal, you know the president that appointed that beauty queen. You know which country he from? Is that Namibia or Zimbabwe? One. We talk about on the show.
Okay, I think she come from Mozambique or something like that.
Mozambique. That young man, he also aggressive. So they're looking at these young leaders, the alliance, that if these young leaders come together, the long-awaited Pan-African nation that people have been dreaming about, they seen it in them. So, but in West Africa, the eyes are on Senegal. You see, that's the point. So,
okay, guys.
Yes,
I called a day for me. It's almost midnight on my end.
Close the show now. You are in charge, so.
Oh yeah, but when Paul came, he took over. So Anyway,
Paul was talking for the international desk. Paul is the international man. So you were speaking for an international point. So
yeah, okay. Oh my guys, I mean, I think today we had a very good show. It was very interactive, educative. Points raised across the floor were salient points. I don't want to ask you have a parting comments, but I just want to thank everybody. Thank you all for a good show tonight. Thanks to our viewers. We'll be back here on Friday, 9 p.m. Central European Time, 8 p.m. GMT, and our sponsor Hems Vodka. Yeah, and for our announcement, before we close, there will be a Independence Day celebration in Antwerp, Belgium, July 25th to the 27th weekend in Antwerp, Belgium. The European diaspora, under the auspices of the European Federation of Liberian Associations, EFLA, will be having this year joint European celebration. So don't miss out. And hope to see you all again. So guys, from my end, have a pleasant night, and we'll see you on Friday. So we'll give our signature tune.
I think we'll have similar thing like that in Manchester as well.
In Manchester, but this one is for all European countries.
The Manchester.
You see, unnecessarily sleepy on duty. While patients are crying, they having conversation. While patients are dying, they busy chatting on Facebook. Anything you do.
This is the Bottom Line Liberia. Join us on Facebook.